Welcome to this week's episode. This week we are answering a letter from a woman who's concerned about how her age might impact her outdoor adventures. She says, "Dear Natalie, all of the blogs, podcasts, and Facebook groups I see are full of young, fit women. My family thinks I'm too old to be out alone on the trails. I need help convincing them and myself that I'm not. Can you give me some advice?" So, of course, my first question when I read this letter was, what the heck is too old for being out on the trails? I mean, not to be flippant, but we even have this expression in English called old as dirt, and trails are literally dirt. So it was kind of difficult for me to understand how a trail could be incompatible with age. But on a more serious note, I also thought of Emma Gatewood, also known as Grandma Gatewood. She was the first woman to solo through hike the Appalachian Trail. She was 67 years old when she did it. She was wearing Keds and carrying a canvas rucksack. And it was full of, obviously not Mountain House dehydrated meals, nuts, berries, stuff she gathered. Not only did she solo through hike this trail at a senior age, she also gave birth to like 1,000 kids, successfully fled a violent marriage and continued on with her life and achieved really great things. And then she went on to blaze the Buckeye Trail in Ohio, which also is over 1,000 miles long. So this woman, in the last couple decades of her life, did these amazing hiking adventures with very little gear after enduring a really hard, challenging life. If she can do it, any of us can do it. So that's where my mind went first. But so the person who asked this question brings up this other idea about these young, fit women that she sees all over the internet and all over advertising. And even those of us who are not in the later years of their life are subject to this, right? If I look online or in magazines, it's very clear to me that the outdoors is being marketed to young, thin, blonde, white women in $300 yoga leggings. And the fact of the matter is that's really not true. The vast majority of us out there in wild places are not going to fit within that box. And it does a disservice to most outdoor enthusiasts to perpetuate that myth that we are all supermodels posing on the side of a cliff in a crazy yoga position. We're not. And it's really important to me and to those of us who love outdoor spaces to challenge that myth. I want people like the person who wrote this letter to get out there. People who fall outside the box of the blonde yoga lady. They need to get out there. And the reason for that is I want our wild spaces to continue forever. I want them to exist forever. And the only way they can is if a wide selection of people get out there, experience wilderness, and get their hearts invested in it. So that means people like the woman who wrote me this letter, people of all shapes, all sizes, all abilities, all colors, all religious backgrounds, all nationalities. Get out there, experience nature, experience wilderness, and get invested in it. Fight for it to continue long after we're gone. So I want older women and men to experience the outdoors. I think we all want that. But then there's this personal piece too, right? Obviously, her family loves her. They care for her. And obviously, she cares for herself. And it sounds like what the woman who wrote this letter is saying is that there's a shred of doubt about her safety and her ability. And so I think what's going to have to happen is she'll need to sit down with her family and have a real honest chat about what are your worst fears? When you think about me alone on a backpacking trip out in the wilderness, what scares you the most about that? And through that really honest, frank discussion, this woman and her family can determine very concrete things that they can solve, that they can address very directly. Maybe it's an area where she needs to become more prepared. Maybe it's a piece of gear that she needs to replace in order for her and her family to feel safer. Maybe it's a skill that she hasn't mastered yet that she can take a few classes in or try out in safe areas closer to home. Regardless of what it is, it's going to require some real frank discussion with her family. But once they do that, it's on the table. I mean, it's in plain view and they can solve it. They can address it very readily. It doesn't have to be this sort of vague, amorphous fear that's just engulfing them and telling them to scold her for getting out there because she's so dang old. That's silly. The bottom line is that this lady needs to get out on the trails. She has a passion for it. She likes it. She enjoys it. And it seems like she's good at it. It's a waste of her talents and her skills to keep her locked up in her house, you know, knitting doilies or whatever society says older women are supposed to do. That's silly. She's not going to enjoy it. Her family isn't going to enjoy her not enjoying herself. And so really a discussion needs to happen and they all have to sort of figure out what can happen next so that they all feel better prepared. Thanks for the letter. I'll see you guys next week.